One thing I really had to adjust to when dealing with restricting carbs is not having pasta as much. It was such a go-to meal because my mom's Italian. But where there's a will, there's a way, so here's an easy low-carb gnocchi and a sauce inspired by wild asparagus risotto from my mom's first home, Sardinia. For the gnocchi, start with 250 grams or 1 cup of ricotta and 1 egg. Beat that until it's smooth before mixing the dry ingredients together. I use 70 grams or around a half cup of lupin flour, 20 grams or around an eighth cup of bamboo fiber, 1.5 teaspoons of xanthan gum, half a teaspoon of lecithin, I'm using sunflower, and half a teaspoon of salt. Mix that before adding to the wet ingredients and combining thoroughly. Sprinkle some bamboo fiber onto a cutting board and spread some on your hands. A thin coating will do because you're not trying to add more into the dough, just a light coating to stop sticking. Take a portion of the dough, lightly knead it, and roll it into a log that's maybe a little less than an inch in diameter. Cut your gnocchi in about 1-inch pieces, or at least use the first piece as a guide so they're all even. You don't need to roll your gnocchi at all, but if you want to, you can easily roll the pieces on the tines of a fork or a board like I am. Add your pieces to a pot of rapidly boiling salted water, and when they float, they're done. Take them out with a slotted spoon or a spider, and ideally, you want to add them directly to the sauce you're putting them in or brown them. But I did things backwards, so now the sauce. I diced up 2 shallots and chopped up around a half bunch of flat leaf parsley. Then I preheated my pan before adding 2 or 3 tablespoons of olive oil and adding in the shallots. While those softened, I cut up a bunch of thin asparagus diagonally. It's pretty important that you use asparagus that's thin and tender. Traditionally, the risotto is made with wild asparagus, so I wanted to replicate that. Add some salt, let the asparagus cook for a minute or 2 before adding in a cup of broth. I use chicken, but you can use veggie if you like. Then I tossed in the parsley, gave everything a stir, and let it start marrying. After a few more minutes, I added in a third of a cup of a dry marsala because it's what I had, but ideally you'd want a white wine, so use up that Riesling. Preferably dry. I let this bubble away for 15 minutes with the goal of reducing the liquid by at least half. Once I got there, I added in 2.5 tablespoons of butter. Then I added my gnocchi, tossed it all, and let it cook for a minute before topping with a healthy dose of pecorino cheese. Ideally you'd use pecorino sardo, but I'm using pecorino romano. Scusi. Taste and add more salt or cheese if you need, but this is a perfect way to indulge when I want pasta. You could pair the gnocchi with pretty much any sauce or pasta style you want, and as you can see, a whole bowl had minimal effect on my glucose. Try it out and follow for more low-carbified recipes from all over the world. Buon appetito!